What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Super Cruiser channel. Today we're going to talk about a new series that we're going to start putting out called It Depends. Pedro and I here get into a lot of fun discussions about all things aviation, and what we found over the years is that the answer is
it depends.
It depends. So to kick this off, we're just going to talk today real quick about two-wheel landings versus three-wheel landings. The FAA describes it as wheel landings versus
3 point.
3 points.
3 point.
So
wheel landings.
It depends on who you're talking to. Depends on what they call them. I call them three-wheel landings or two-wheel landings. When we first got this plane, I used to be a big fan of two-wheel landings, and Pedro was a big fan of three-wheel landings. But somewhere in the last year and a half, 2 years, I've transitioned to doing more three-wheel landings, and Pedro does more two-wheel landings. So we sat down at breakfast this morning, and we're trying to figure out why we do what we do. And of course, the answer is it depends.
I don't know, it depends.
Well, you can say that about most anything. It depends. Of course, it depends.
Of course it depends. Of course it depends.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Of course, it depends.
So when you look at a two-wheel landing or landing on a wheel landing versus a 3 point, some of the things you want to consider is, one, visibility on where you're landing at. That's where a 2 point landing or a wheel landing would come in. 3 point landing is better if you need to land in a short field, right? Obviously, when you watch STOL competitions or people landing off site, a 3 point landing is going to help you stop a lot faster. Now, wheel landing is good for many different reasons, two of them being visibility and the second one being crosswind. Obviously, that higher speed gives you a little bit more control when you're coming in on a two-wheel landing. Now, in our airplane, I don't think it matters because we have the VGs now, but what's your take on that, Chris?
I think it depends, right? Anytime there's a crosswind landing, it seems like the preferred method is definitely a two-wheel landing, right? Because that way you can kind of keep the plane flying and get it on the runway, and then dump the lift, and then, I don't know. It just seems like a two-wheel landing works better in crosswinds. This is probably a highly debated topic amongst tailwheel pilots. So again, we'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. But what we really decided after this discussion this morning was we should be proficient at both of them. So we would probably highly encourage anyone that owns a tail dragger plane to practice your two-wheel landings and practice your three-wheel landings, because if you get too comfortable at one or the other, it could put you in a bind if you only did three-wheel landings and then one day you have to land in a big crosswind. So yeah, so that's just the real quick down and dirty on two-wheel landings versus three-wheel landings, and we'll get into it more. We have tons and tons of topics that we want to discuss, where the answer is
it depends.
it depends. All right, guys, see ya.